Hello, everyone. How are we doing? All good?
All right, hi everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to go through how customer feedback drives ROI and some kind of practical tips that you can take back to your business to really capture the feedback and then utilize it to grow your business and then improve it as well through the insights. I'm Steph Gillies. I'm the marketing director for the UK, and I'm joined by Ben.
Hi, I'm Ben, Senior Sales Manager at Trustpilot. Prior to this, I ran a small e-commerce business in the sports nutrition industry, and that's kind of what led me here. So as Stephanie says, we're going to talk a little bit about customer feedback today and how that plays into Gen Z and UGC overall. We're going to explore why trust matters in today's landscape, particularly in a digital environment. We're going to look at the power of reviews in marketing and a little bit about why we exist and why businesses should focus on reviews for the aforementioned reasons.
Wonderful. So before we jump into that, I want to take a step back and look at why does trust matter in today's landscape. I don't think this is particularly relevant to, it's relevant to all generations. So you can probably use this, but I'd recommend if you haven't looked at the Edelman Trust Barometer, I definitely would recommend downloading that. I think it comes out every year, but what it really showed is there is a growing distrust in traditional media outlets and social media as well. And the UK actually has the lowest levels of trust within Europe. So I think this just kind of shows that, it's important to capture the feedback, capture user-generated content as well, have a think about why you need to build trust as well, build trust in your brand, build trust in the relationships as well, and the customer experience you offer. It's interesting here that 70% of Gen Zers always fact-check what they see online as well, so I think that's an important takeaway. So why does trust really matter in today? So we know that 71% of people say it's more important to trust a brand they buy from. So very rarely do you buy from a brand that you haven't heard of or that you haven't got a personal recommendation from. 59% are more likely to purchase a product as well from the brand they trust. And again, it drives loyalty. So 67% remain loyal to an advocate for the brand. So they're more likely to go back and repurchase from the same brand that they trust, that they know will deliver the product or service that they purchase from, and that they've got a good interaction with the brand. So I guess what's the impact? Now that we know why trust is important, what impact does that actually have on purchasing behaviour? So 93% of buyers find UGC, so user-generated content, very helpful when making decisions. So I think we all know the impact of that, I think the rise of TikTok, Instagram Reels, more user-generated content that brands are leveraging and putting on their social media channels, on their website as well. But people are turning to this and finding it super relevant. 85% of Gen Zers say that trusting a brand is critical. So we know the importance of trust and it applies to this generation as well. And then 32%, that actually stop buying from a brand after one kind of bad experience. So it's really critical to get that customer experience right, how you interact with your consumers as well, because it's definitely a turn-off.
Consumers turn to reviews whether we know it or not. Gen Z consumers in particular are adept at looking for trust signals online, whether that be through reading reviews, looking at social media, influencer marketing obviously playing a huge part in this. But they are looking for it when making purchasing decisions. So as I said, millions of consumers see reviews every day. There are 1.2 billion trust box impressions in Google search, and 104 impressions of widgets showcasing reviews and ratings in 2022 alone. So these trust signals are everywhere, at every touch point in the consumer journey, and they play a huge part in driving those funnels and making sure that brands are winning conversions and winning the click essentially. The impact of this absolutely undeniable. So 89% of UK consumers say that ratings and reviews influence their choice of products and services, and 83% of UK consumers agree a good Trustpilot score makes them more likely to buy from a brand, and this is all based on London research that was published this year.
So now we're going to go through what does that mean for us marketers in the room. So I'm sure I'm not alone with these stats. I feel like this resonates a lot with anyone in marketing. So 71% of us believe that kind of we lack sufficient budget to execute our strategy. I think there's more pressure on marketing budget and marketing outputs as well. It's a balance of kind of what's your acquisition cost, your lifetime value, how do you invest in different channels as well, often with the same budget. And there's definitely more pressure to deliver better ROI these days as well. So there's more pressure from kind of finance teams, the business, to make sure that the investment we're making is driving results.
Leveraging reviews and ratings across the customer journey. So, I'm still baffled at how many businesses, put a hell of an amount of spend into, winning attention. Basically, that's what we're doing, is day trading attention, but not always sort of winning that click. So, we know that featuring reviews and ratings in your ads makes consumers 4 times more likely to click. And obviously, Gen Z's preference for authentic content and having that third-party credibility, hugely important. As I say, throughout the entire funnel, from when you first get those eyeballs on your brand, right through to your website, right through to product pages, right through to cart abandonment and all those other issues. It's really important to have those trust signals throughout. Website and social, I've kind of touched on it there, and I know this is very stat heavy, so I see people frantically making notes. I think it's more powerful. 73% of UK consumers are more likely to click through on a Trustpilot co-branded ad when it contains a customer review. When we think about like influencers and how much we trust those, third-party reviews is that digital word of mouth. If you had a friend or a family member recommend something to you, you're more likely to go and look at it. And the same happens in a digital environment. When you see that credible third-party review, it's just that little moment, that psychological moment. It's like, okay, I'm going to click on this. And I keep saying it, but winning that click is hugely important. So 34 times more likely to click on a co-branded ad with a customer rating, trust score, review content, etc. And the big one of all the data that we have when collated is a 23% increase in conversions when you use Trustpilot ratings or reviews in your marketing.
I'll go on to search. We all probably invest in search. And these slides here are supposed to kind of show you what you're already doing and how you can make small tweaks to maximize the output as well. So a lot of this won't be new. Search marketing is not new for us. But by adding kind of ratings and reviews into it, it actually then improves, your click-through rates from it. We see an average of 30% uplift in click-through on paid and organic search when you kind of collect reviews. You can see a couple of examples with the stars included, right? So again, it's really small changes, but they're kind of the trust signals that consumers are looking for, and they're a great way to increase your click-through rate by up to 10% as well. So if you're already spending in this channel, it makes sense to kind of test this out, see if you do see the increase as well to help maximize the spend and the output delivered through this. Again, with TV, we did a really interesting study recently with Kantar Research, where we did some tests on TV ads that had ratings and reviews and those that didn't. So we kind of, like A/B split control, tested the group. And we showed them, different ads. We did 4 different industries as well, so 4 different ads. And the impact is, I think it's super impressive. For those that invest in TV already, I think a 1 percentage point increase is amazing. To get these kind of results is incredible. So things that we saw was level of brand confidence actually was up by 8 percentage points. Same with the likelihood to purchase or endorse. And then the level of trust went up by 7 percentage points as well. So I think, if you've ever invested in TV, you would know that these are very impressive results. And I think with the rise of streaming services now also putting TV ads at times throughout their content, again, it's small little tweaks that you can make to help extend your marketing budget and go further with the results. And AO was one of the case studies that participated in this research. So they used their Trustpilot ratings and reviews on their website, social media as well, but then we tested it in their a TV ad. And what was really interesting that one of their demographics, which is 18 to 34-year-olds, it actually increased by 33 percentage points that kind of trust-seeking mentality. So all of a sudden, they trusted the TV ad they saw more in one of their key demographics. Again, in their other 35 to 64, it went up by 4 percentage points, the confidence in the brand. So again, we looked at it for different demographics, different industries as well, and we're kind of seeing that the results are working, that by having these trust signals incorporated in your marketing, your customers and consumers are more willing to trust and more likely to purchase.
So I'm going to talk a little bit now about why Trustpilot exists and why reviews exist in general. Before I kind of move on to some of the stats here, we were doing some research in June, I think, of last year around prompted and unprompted brand awareness. And Gen Z is one of the fastest growing demographics in terms of age range that are now looking at reviews. You know, boomers, etc., have been doing it for a long time. Gen Z, we're seeing steady growth year on year in that unprompted brand awareness, i.e. they're going and finding reviews off their own back without being prompted to do so. And I think it's just testament to the fact that brands need to lean into this. They need to lean into those third-party credible reviews and the trust signals that we keep talking about. So look, in terms of why we exist, it's to fundamentally to help businesses build trust, grow, and improve. I won't read each stat off there, but the fact that we're still in one of the top 1% of websites visited globally is testament to the strength of the review industry as a whole and not just our brand. Fake reviews is a big question that often comes up in this space. We've just published our transparency report, if anyone's got an hour free to read 36 pages, but it talks a little bit in detail about that. But one of the big things we're most proud of is being a founding member of the Coalition for Trusted Reviews, which is fundamentally where industry leaders from different verticals have come together to try and inform prospective consumers and people on their purchasing decisions and try and make it a safer place, and again, one that we can trust. So a few key takeaways before we leave plenty of time for questions. We much prefer Q&A rather than just talking at you. So Steph mentioned it right at the start, right? You know, trust is at an all-time low, and you know, you think about yourselves when you're scrolling through Instagram or TikTok, look just how much information we're constantly fed, right? So that's why it's so crucial to make sure that we've got that kind of third-party validation and make sure that we've got trust signals throughout our entire marketing funnel, fundamentally. As I mentioned, really proud to be one of the top 1% of websites visited globally. Just as a brand ourselves, we know that we're having to try and do more with less these days. So social proof is a very, very, very good way to absolutely squeeze every pound out of your marketing budget rather than having to invest more and more and more. Increasing those trust signals, using them, leveraging on UGC, etc. It will drive more conversions and, as I say, help you build trust, grow, and hopefully improve. There we go.
Let's do some questions. Like Ben said, we much prefer kind of Q&A. This can be anything from your industry to how do you leverage reviews to how do you get started, anything like that. If there's any.
Yes, hello. My question is, when, for example, a company passes through imagine operational issues and there are some problems with orders for like a couple of months, and then there are lots of negative reviews accumulated, and then it's super hard to increase our Trustpilot score again. Do you have any recommendations when that happens? When we've solved the issue, but now we have so many negative reviews that it takes a long, long time to start increasing our score again.
Yeah, sure. It's a tough one. Obviously, businesses go through tricky patches with production or courier companies drop the ball every now and then. I think the main thing, particularly on the negative review side of things, is to like lean into it. Okay, like don't bury your head in the sand. Anecdotally, when prospective customers see that you've really gone above and beyond and responded to reviews and gone into detail on those issues, that harnesses trust in itself, right? If you read a negative review and the brand's done absolutely nothing about it, the back of your head, you're like, how much does this brand really care about their customers? So, again, I always implore people to think about what you do when you're in that situation, whether you're booking a hotel or a restaurant or buying something online. When you see a negative review and the brand has dealt with it really well, there's an element there of like, okay, well, this brand cares, I can trust them, I can see that the issue has been rectified, et cetera, et cetera. And then I think that also boils down to kind of top-level communication with your customers. If there are these issues, to try and get ahead of it, talk about it, say what's going on, say when it's going to be fixed, et cetera, et cetera. It all boils down to like whether they can trust you or not, right? And I think there's like the level of communication is probably the kind of the key message there within that one.
Hello. I have one question. How is your company fighting against fake profiles and fake negative reviews?
Very good question. Extremely hot topic. As I mentioned, so every year, in fact we didn't do it last year, but 2022 and the most recent one just come out now. It's our transparency report, which is full details of what we're doing to combat this. And look, we know it's a huge issue, right? You know, obviously nowhere near as big, but I kind of liken the world we're in now to Facebook, Twitter, et cetera, with bots and so on, and it's a major issue. Fundamentally, the key answer is it's product-led. So it's what are we doing with machine learning and AI to trawl our system to understand when there are fluctuations in certain things, and it's incredibly sophisticated. And our product team and security team in particular are very, very, very hot on that. It's crucial, if people can't trust us or trust reviews, then there's nothing left, is there really? It all comes crumbling down. So it's product-led, as I say. AI being the key buzzword there. I think it was something like 2.5 million fake reviews were removed from the platform last year. But it's an ongoing battle. It's just one we've got to keep on top of.
Yeah, and we invest millions per year as part of our business to tackle this. So we remove the reviews that businesses probably wouldn't even know that were there in the first place. We take it incredibly seriously as kind of leading the kind of trust landscape as well. It's why we're a founding member of the Coalition for Trusted Reviews as well, along with like Expedia, a couple of other brands. And so we wouldn't be part of that membership if we didn't kind of want to tackle this head on. So yeah, we invest millions per year. We have teams dedicated to this as well.
Hi there. It's a very practical question. The AO ad that you said had this huge increase in percentage point of trust, what was it?
The ad, can you go back actually? That way. The other way. Yeah, so I think it was their general, just like a general brand ad. They invest quite heavily in brand. It's all detailed in the report, but it was going through, I think, just the AO brand itself, just to get people onto their website. They then had, the ratings and reviews on it, center point. That also then matched what they have on their homepage as well. So it was kind of, at least consumers could see the homepage with the ratings and reviews and then the ad, but it was a general kind of brand building
okay,
ad.
so it didn't have a narrative that was particularly contentious or provocative or something like that?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
No, and I think just to add to Steph's point there, we said the word trust signals a lot throughout because we know how powerful it is. And as I said, right at the top of the funnel, from TV ad to someone seeing a social media ad right through to your website, it doesn't need to be anything specifically provocative or a narrative. Say the unprompted brand awareness that Trustpilot has and also just the review culture in general means that psychological tick box is ticked when someone sees an ad of some sort, and that's what helps win that first click, and that's what helps drive them through the funnel. And that's why something as simple as your brand rating can be that starting point and that kind of like lighting the flame for that, which is why we believe it's so crucial.
Hey, so a campaign like the one you just got on AO, if a brand is going to do a big campaign and introduce Trustpilot, make it co-branded, is there anything that you guys do to support that campaign or that collaboration?
Yeah, I think there's difference. So, our customer success team would work with you. We partner really closely with brands that want to leverage Trustpilot on their kind of marketing different channels. We then can kind of offer support in terms of maybe when is the right time to show it. We then have worked on kind of placement as well of where to put it on the ad, because that will differ maybe from TV to say a social media post. So we can kind of offer and kind of provide some guidance there.
Hi, I was just wondering, how would you encourage consumers to actually review? Obviously, we know that they're looking for reviews, but other than email marketing, how can we encourage the reviews?
Sure. One of the easiest ways is to automate and integrate review platform like Trustpilot into your customer journey post-purchase. That's very simply the easiest way. You can go back to past customers as well to get that kind of first hit of your social proof, if you like, if it's been relatively unmanaged. But integrating it into the customer journey, we've got businesses that just work with Trustpilot. We've got some that do Trustpilot and NPS. We've got some that do Trustpilot and NPS, and they might use a different system as well. I think the key thing is just make that first step and ask and make it part of the customer journey. That would be really the key thing.
And did you want outside of email? Yeah. So I'd also have a thing. So I think email's the most obvious choice to send it straight after purchase. You could also have a think like it might be, I've seen in-store receipts be used as well. So after the purchase, you could do that.
Yeah, you can do QR codes.
QR codes on boxes as well, or you could put like a little leaflet into the box.
You can do SMS via .digital now as well.
SMS as well. So there's multiple different ways outside. So I would have a think through the consumer purchase journey. So is it a physical product? You could leverage that versus email. So multiple different ways that we can help you with there.
Thank you.
Do you have any examples of working within the charity sector? So I work for a humanitarian airline, working in different countries around the world, and obviously we're trying to build our donor base. Have you got examples for that kind of a thing?
We do, yeah. We had this question, or a comparable question at a previous event, and it's only an assumption, but I would assume that Gen Z are far more conscious, perhaps, in this current climate than maybe other generations. And I think the key thing there is, even though it's obviously you're not trying to get someone to buy a product or a service, they need to trust what you're doing, right? Because they're going to just give you money and really get nothing in return personally for it. So excuse if that was phrased incorrectly, but so the trust signal there is huge, right? Do you do what you say you're going to do? So again, like in terms of like top level comms, what you're doing with those donors, etc. But then again, integrating that throughout that journey to ensure that you've got that feedback loop, and then you can leverage that feedback loop to effectively demonstrate that you're sticking to your side of the deal fundamentally. So there are examples. The easiest way to look for those is like on our category pages. And look under the charity sector, and it's very quickly you'll see who are doing it really well and those that aren't, and that's probably a good place to start.
Amazing. We are out of time. Thank you all for your questions. Excuse me. Ben, Stephanie, thank you so much for all the insights from Trustpilot. Thank you so much. Any final words?
Just thanks, everyone. Sorry for taking up your lunch. Have a great day.
Thank you. Any further questions?
Thank you, guys. Cheers.